Hey you guys, it's Shannon Rose, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys a very creepy story time about how my husband and I and my daughter Snow stayed at a haunted campground and all of the weird, disturbing things that happened there. So if you're curious to what happened to us, keep watching. Okay, you guys, before I get into this very disturbing and creepy story time, I wanted to share with you guys something, and that is that I have partnered up with Hunt a Killer for this video. So a huge thank you to them for partnering with us. If you haven't already heard about this, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them. It is basically the coolest new game ever. And it's not just a game, it's also a subscription box. So you would get a new one of these every month. And it is like a Netflix true crime documentary plus an escape room had a baby. That's what this is. So every month you would get something like this in the mail. So when you open up your box, you're gonna get something different each month. This is what happens to be in my box this month, and I'm so excited to dig in. I'm actually gonna show you some of the things that come inside so you get an idea of what you get in these subscription boxes. But I thought with everything going on right now, people are stuck at home, and even when you're not stuck at home, if you're with your family, like if you ever look around, you'll notice like we're all on our phones, a majority of us. And so I love being able to play board games, put our phones down, get away from like the negativity of what's going on in our world right now, and kind of like escape into something fun and exciting where you can use your brain for something. And I always thought it'd be so cool, like if I was like an investigator, crime scene investigator, or like worked for like the FBI or the CIA or something like really crazy, and to be able to like solve true crime mysteries. And now I finally can. So we're gonna take out what is in this box. I'm gonna show it to you really quickly. It looks so real too. Okay, so these are some of the clues. So you basically get like clues, you get to decipher codes to find out who the killer is. It's so cool the way they do this. It says Ira has really signed the contract on this. What else is in here? Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's like this little keychain in here. There's like a movie ticket for a hint. Ooh, what's in here? There's like this little coin pouch with like clues and stuff in here. So if you were gonna investigate a crime, like this would be all the stuff that you have. The really cool thing I love about this game is that you can play this by yourself. So if you don't wanna like play it in like a group or with family, you can do this all alone on your own if you like work better alone or something like that. This is actually one of the world's fastest growing subscription boxes. I think it's such a fun idea to do like once a month, to do like a game night with all like your closest friends or family. And this could be one of the games that you guys play. It's a pretty cool game. Also, something I think is really unique about this company is that for each box sold, a portion of the proceeds actually goes to the Cold Case Foundation, which helps actual cold cases in real life to get solved. So I think that's really cool. So I'm gonna give you guys some TMI. My husband and I were fighting the other day because we've just been like locked down together. There's been a lot of stress with everything going on, and I wanted to be able to do something that I felt like could take our mind off of it and be something that would be fun. And we had so much fun. We were laughing, we were like working together. I feel like this game could help for so many different things. That's just my experience. So if you guys want to get this game, I would highly recommend it. It's so super fun, especially if you're into like true crime. This is like so good. Or if you need like a gift for somebody and you feel like you're not good at giving gifts, this subscription box would be great for that. So I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description box. You just go to Hunt a Killer. You can also use my code Shannon for 20% off. So the boxes started around $25. So I'm gonna leave all that information down below. Again, huge thank you to Hunt a Killer for partnering with me on this video. Definitely follow along on my vlog channel if you're not already, because we would like to vlog playing some of these games. It's really fun. So definitely check that out. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the story time. Okay, so a while ago, Travis and I were traveling a lot in the motorhome, and I don't know if you guys remember, but we used to live in Folsom, and it's so beautiful there. And we went to Folsom Lake a few times, but we never stayed at their campground. And so I always told Trav, like, I really want to stay at their campground. So finally we were able to book the campground. We ended up going there and staying the night, and I actually filmed I believe it was a morning routine, like in the RV. So I'll try to link that video down below if I can remember, so you guys can see the video that we actually filmed while we were there, but we weren't vlogging. We did touch on this in the video about how we were like, this campground is definitely haunted, but we never really did a vlog about it or spoke more about it. And since me posting that video, I have gotten countless comments from you guys like, when are you gonna post the haunted story time about camping at Folsom Campground? And I just never did it. And so finally I am here sitting down, I'm gonna tell you guys the story. So I wanna start this off by saying we only stayed one night there, and at nighttime, nothing happened. That's like the weirdest part I think of this whole story is like, nothing really weird happened at night. We didn't feel weird. The only like kind of creepy thing was that at nighttime it's so dark that like when all the windows, like the shades are open and you have lights on in your motorhome, like you can't see anything outside. It's like pitch black. But obviously if someone was outside, they would be able to see you if you had your shades open. So that was like really the only creepy thing. But that is like, you know, to be expected. It's normal, nothing out of the ordinary. So again, nothing happened during the night. Like we slept well, we woke up. I was excited to film like our morning routine in the RV. I love like being creative and like getting cool different shots and angles. And so when I film videos like that, it takes me like hours to film. So we had started in the morning pretty early because I wanted to get like certain shots and like you know, I wanted it to look like we were waking up in the morning. And a lot of times when you film that long, it doesn't look like the morning anymore, right? Because you're like filming it sometimes around noon. And if you're not supposed to be waking up at noon, you can tell what noon looks like outside. So we woke up pretty early to film this video. All of like the weird, creepy stuff happened during the day, which to me, like, again, off the bat, like I was just like, that's so weird. But I guess I prefer if weird stuff's gonna happen for it to happen during the daytime than in nighttime. During my filming of my morning routine, I actually got a phone call and I was on the phone and I just remember all of a sudden the phone just like going quiet and I was like, what the heck? And I look at my phone and it's black, like completely black. So I thought that was really weird. So I like go to turn it on or like get the screen back on and I'm like, hello, hello. And I realized like my phone just completely shut off, which was very weird because it was not anywhere near being dead. In fact, it had a full charge. So I was like, that's so weird. But again, this is the first like weird thing that kind of had happened. And so I didn't think anything of it. I just like grabbed my charger, plugged it in, you know, tried to turn my phone, and then all of a sudden my phone just turned back on. But it didn't turn back on like all of a sudden right when I plugged it in. It like, I don't know, it was like 20 seconds later and then it just turned back on. Like it was really weird. So I was like, that's so odd. It has a full battery. So I unplug it from the charger. I go back, I make my phone call and you know, I'm on my call for a while and then all of a sudden it happens again where like the phone just completely shuts off, like completely. So I'm like, there's something wrong with my phone. This is so weird. Again, didn't think it had anything to do with the campsite. I just thought like my phone was acting funny. So I was like, ugh, that sucks, whatever. So then we're filming and all of a sudden the light above me in the motorhome starts flickering. I like to have all the lights on in the motorhome when I'm filming just because it looks like more aesthetically pleasing. I noticed like the light above me was flickering and I was like, what the heck? So I turned it off, turned it back on, totally fine. We had phone service. Our phones were not acting strange the night before. We didn't have any flickering lights, like nothing. So that's kind of like what started throughout the day. This is where it starts to get kind of like creepy and like really weird. And that is that while we're filming, Travis knows because I'm kind of crazy with this stuff, is like I like it to be really quiet. Like obviously if snow's making noise, like I don't care, but like I get distracted really easily. And so if like Travis is trying to talk to me while I'm doing something, like it will like kind of screw up what I'm doing. And so he knows better, right? So as I was filming, I heard him like whisper something to me. And I know he was probably like whispering because he didn't want to like distract me, but even a whisper is going to distract me. And I'm like, what did you say? And he like looked at me and he's like, I didn't say anything. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I start filming again and I hear whispering again. And I'm like, what? Like I look at him like really annoyed and I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm not saying anything. I didn't say anything. And that's when I was like, okay, now I'm creeped out because I know he's not whispering to me. Like he kind of knows better already. And like the second time, like that definitely wasn't him. And I was like full on hearing whispering in the motorhome. It wasn't snow. Like it was just, that was creepy to me. So then I'm like with my anxiety, I was like, oh my God, like maybe I accidentally like ate something that had like acid on it and I'm totally tripping right now and like people are whispering to me, and it like really kind of creeped me out and gave me a little bit of an anxiety attack. But then I was just like, no, that's definitely did not happen. Like, let's be real. And I like breathed through it, and that just like was really creepy. And then this is like where we realized like something was off, and that is when we were in the middle of like taking a break from filming. Travis was like, "What'd you say?" And I was like, "I didn't say anything." He's like, "You weren't just like whispering to me?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, no. I thought you were whispering to me earlier. Are you hearing whispering?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "It's not me." And that's when we realized like, okay, something's like kind of going on here between like the phone and the flickering lights. And now like we're both hearing whispering. Like, that's just really creepy. And then his phone started acting weird. And then all of a sudden, like as we're like realizing like something's not right, we hear like this really loud like knock on our door. And it like literally, we both like jumped because we were already kind of like freaked out. And then that scared us even more. And so we're like, oh my God, it's probably like, I don't know, like the camp people like checking something or whatever. And so Travis opens the door and there's no one there. And he walks out and he like looks around. You guys, we're in a motorhome. So the amount of time that it took for Travis to open the door as soon as someone knocked on the door, we would have seen somebody like walking away. There was nobody there. Nobody was freaking there. And that knock was loud. We knew like, okay, this is freaking creeping me out. And the thing is you guys, like we were super scared and it was broad daylight and all these weird things were happening. I was so glad that we weren't spending another night there, because even if we were and had already paid, I would have been like, we are out of here. We're staying in a hotel. This freaking campground is definitely haunted. I don't know. It just like really creeped me out. And then you guys, this is the craziest part. When we were first checking in, the person that worked at the front, like where they check you in at the campground, I remember was saying like, okay, you guys like checked in at this campsite. Are you sure you want to stay at that campsite? And I just thought like maybe there was another campsite that had opened up, or I don't know, that they were just like double checking. I didn't realize that they knew something that we didn't. And that was that we were checking in to a very haunted campground site in Folsom Campground. And now I know why that campsite was probably open. It was like a really nice campground. We're like, oh yeah, we were like all excited about getting this spot because we thought it was like a really good spot. And it was like open, and normally like when you go camping somewhere, all the good spots are taken already, and that spot wasn't, and now we know why. So after this happened and we had stayed there, I always get curious, like, because I used to live in a really haunted house, and then when I learned like the history and background of why it was haunted, it made a lot more sense to me. And so I decided to do the same thing with Folsom Campground. So when I looked up if Folsom Campground was haunted, I noticed that Folsom Prison is not too far away. And Folsom Prison's been there for a very long time. That place is definitely haunted. Back in the, I think it was like the 1800s, they had like 93 men that were like hung at Folsom Prison. As you guys know, well, if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you, spirits can actually travel to places close by. And that's what happened in my last house, the haunted house. I don't know if you guys have seen those story times before or not, but the house behind me, Caddy Corner, was like a very tragic thing had taken place where one of the kids that lived there like killed his whole family and then killed himself, and ended up traveling to our house. And so I think possibly what happened is somehow spirits from Folsom Prison that are not too far away, somehow something happened to do with that campground, and that is how it's haunted. But this is like the creepiest part, is like when I was researching and looking this stuff up, back in the day, like when you were like on death row or going to be hung, you weren't allowed to talk to the other cellmates. And so in order to communicate with the other cellmates when they were in prison, they would whisper to each other. They would whisper to each other. Oh, it like literally gives me chills, you guys, because we were hearing whispering when we were staying at that campsite. And so I definitely, hands down, think now that it was definitely something that had to do with Folsom Prison and Folsom Campground. So that is kind of story time on what happened and some of the things, creepy, disturbing things that took place while we stayed at Folsom Campground. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, a huge thank you to Hunt a Killer for partnering with us on this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all my love and all my positive energy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Mwah.